Hi, I'm Darren Long from Delta Harbour Assets, and on this week's Hard Money podcast, we're going to talk about a situation, a story that cropped up that I think you should know about. Is every bit of gold and silver exactly the same? It is not, and we're going to tell you why by showing you an example of a story you got to hear. Right now, here comes Hard Money.
There are no shortcuts to building wealth today. It takes time, effort, sacrifice, and diversification. But today, diversification means something different than it did in the past. You deserve a more secure way to protect and grow your wealth. At Delta Harbour, we take this to heart. Our mission is to help by inviting you to add physical gold and silver to your wealth strategy. Book a free consultation today and let us show you how to protect and grow your wealth through the ownership of physical gold and silver. Let us show you the Delta difference. Hey, welcome again, Hard Money Podcast. Another week has come and gone, but that has not slowed things down in the precious metals, the heavy metals industry, precious metals anyway. Here's the deal, guys. We do this every week to educate you through Delta Harbour. And the reason is you probably have not got any physical metals in your portfolio yet. You should get on this. It is high time you got a hold of this. That's why we do this podcast every week, to educate you and give you some background as to what this is all about, how you get involved in the business, how you get your portfolio up and running with these metals. And Darren is here once again to educate you in that regard. You can reach out beyond this podcast anytime, by the way, and that would simply be Delta Harbour, Harbour with a U, because we're Canadian, and that's how we spell it, Delta Harbour with a U.com. Same goes for social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, that's how you're going to search. Phone number to reach out to Darren, Rob, and the rest of the team, always ready to help you out and get this part of your portfolio up and running. They don't want 100% of it, but they think you should be involved in it anyway. At least get the information you need. 1-877-323-GOLD. Darren, with that said, okay, we're close to the tail end of summer. I hate saying those words because I'm such a summer guy, but interest rates way up, about to get higher very shortly, as you called a couple of weeks ago. Inflation way up, trending higher. Cost of living way up, trending higher. Real estate is going in the dumps, especially if you bought something in the last 12 months. Good call, but you didn't know. I realize that. And gold and silver is on sale. We love those words. What do you make of all this, pal? It's kind of turbulent times, man.
Well, it is. We sit here this morning, John, and welcome to all our listeners and everything. And as we tape this show on Friday, there is a certain air of, I guess it's the best way to be described is to say uncertainty. This week we listened to the Federal Reserve banking heads in the U.S. Talk, and in their minutes, basically you had no real conclusion as to the strength of their commitment to one way or the other. Neither were they hawkish or dovish, kind of some on both sides of the fence. I think they just don't understand this particular moment in time well enough yet to really get a handle on exactly what's about to happen. Now, we know the U.S. is in recession. It's as clear as day. Everybody acknowledges it. It's an accepted thing. They don't know how long the contraction will last. Canada seems to be following closely behind, although headlines don't point that out. Gold sitting at 17, almost 50 right now, and silver, amazingly, how this happens is unbelievable, but it is the course we are taking at this moment at around $19 on paper per ounce, and both very oversold at the moment. And if you look at the Fed minutes from this week, we know the 75 basis point hike is there, but it felt as though they were very uncertain about the next few months. Now, it's important to note that in the coming week or so, we're having in the U.S., the yearly Jackson Hole meeting of all the heads of the central bankers on August the 25th. We're going to get a lot of info from that meeting. It's going to be spread out around the media, and of course a lot of it's going to be bullshit, as it usually is, but you're going to have to pick and choose in between the lines as to what's really being said. So at the moment, we think that there is no doubt in our mind that something greater is happening here, transpiring behind the scenes. This week was a bad week for cryptocurrencies yet again. And it's uncertain as to whether or not the stock market, despite the fact that some companies are calling in great earnings, that some segments of the stock market have been fantastic and really have started to a very, very mild recovery in some respects. Despite all that happening, there is real uncertainty out there, and we're coming into a time of year in which there are some bits and pieces of things that happen on a yearly basis that are going to impact us as Canadians. And so when we look at gold and silver, both remain under pressure at the moment, but it lights up the phones for potential buyers. And it being on sale, this is where you get the people who understand gold and silver versus the newbies. And those are the difference between people who buy when everybody else is fearful versus those who only buy when everybody else is greedy. Home buyers over the last 12 months that didn't need the home and bought to speculate, that's greedy. People who buy out of fear, when there is fear in the marketplace, those are people who generally do very well. And that's exactly where gold and silver are right now. There's trouble is been brewing for a while. Debt is accruing. It's not stopping. Yes, the inflation reported rate in Canada slowed mildly, but we're still at 7.6%. It's insanity. And we haven't experienced this since the 1980s. And we're fighting an uphill battle to remain relevant as an economy on the world or global stage. And during all of this, despite the fact that the headlines tout a really solid moment, recovery, all the key words that are used to denote positive changes in an economy of growth, despite all of this, against the U.S., which is clearly in recession, and everybody admits that they are, the Canadian dollar hasn't been able to make any real serious ground against the almighty greenback in the U.S. So what does it say? I don't know. I mean, you look across the board, inflation in certain areas is going to get worse. That's the first thing. Food inflation, definitely through the fall. We've had a terrible, terrible season with a ton of very, very dry weather in the West, and it's been real hell for them. Some parts of the U.S. have picked up as of late over the last month, and certainly may break even in terms of what we expect. But we do expect the economy to continue to contract, and real estate, because it's such a significant part of our GDP, is leading the charge. It's going to continue to contract, and historically, it takes around 10 years for that to recover. So about 10 years to get back to where these prices are. So if you own real estate, hunker down.
Yeah.
But if you haven't bought yet, wait, because there's no need to be buying at these prices. It's going to go much lower. And that cost of living, which is very high for us, is what worries me right now, as people in the general public are seemingly very unaware of this, John. It's just going about their business as if nothing happened. So for us, keep it simple. The same rules apply as they do every year at this time. August is the very tail end of the summer doldrums when we approach the back to school days. And we need to stock up on things that you need, and you leave the things you desire to brighter days ahead. Things you need, well, we believe that should be gold and silver, physical gold and silver. We believe you want to buy it when it's on sale, so that criteria is met as we speak. And we believe that the greater media is going to continue to manifest these real aggressive positive headlines behind the truth of which is we are contracting slowly, but it's happening. And we said many months ago, this is going to be a very different recession than we've experienced before. All of the telltale signs are still there, and the writing is in between the lines telling us that there is still stagflation on the near-term horizon. And right now, gold and silver are cheap. So I would encourage people to be out there doing their research, getting to our website, and finding out as much as you can, because the world is not what it appears.
It's interesting too, and it was actually last night I stumbled on the story on the TV, and I knew you were going to talk about it, the Scotiabank story via CTV about gold bars and silver bars, and we went down a really interesting rabbit hole last week, as opposed talking about the difference between coins and bars, what you should be investment, what's investment grade, where you should start your portfolio. I mean, are all product types basically the same, and is the purity the same? How are people going to navigate this? And again, that story that came out yesterday, you want to talk about? Give me some details. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, all products are not the same. When it comes to products, we try to use products that are world tested, that are accepted on a global stage, from mints and fabricators that are known throughout the world, and purity and consistencies which are unmatched, that are always the same, no matter where you are in the world. So if you want a 1 ounce bar of Royal Canadian Mint Gold, it's exactly the same in Canada as it would be in Germany, as it would be in China, as it would be anywhere else. And those are the kind of products that are on a site like ours that really do have a global liquidity, so you can be bought and sold anywhere around the world, and that's the type of products we sell. So think of removing us from the equation. What if Delta didn't exist anymore? You own product that can be bought and sold anywhere around the world, versus those going to the bank, buying bank product, which is labeled in the bank name, which once you leave the marketplace, like Scotiabank did not too long ago, after being in the market for 100+ years, Scotia Macata, that is, and after being through numerous amounts of bull markets in the metals markets, after being one of the world's most recognized names in bullion, they just left. They left the marketplace. They were in trouble. They had paper problems that led them to have to leave the market. And again, that's another story for another day. But once they left the market, it meant they no longer dealt with their clients. And of course, CTV News pointed out that an individual, a woman who had bought a bit of gold and silver, she had held on to it for a number of years, and she went back to Scotiabank to sell it, and they said, sorry, we're not in the business anymore. And she said, well, what do I do with it? And they said, well, we don't know, but you can't buy it or sell it here. Wow. And that brings up the question of whether or not it's advisable to be buying product that's labeled by the bank. I mean, there are a number of banks in Canada that do sell their own labeled product, and a lot of people will come to us, obviously having the bank experience is a very, very natural thing, and compare us to the bank. But the first question we ask is, are we comparing apples to apples? Are we talking about the same product? We don't sell bank product. That woman could have come to our shop and we would have handled that product for her on the sell side. And what was great about the story, John, is that despite the fact that she ran into a barrier in not being able to sell it at Scotiabank and a black mark for Scotiabank, she was able to go to a good dealer, local dealer, who helped her to sell that product. And that's exactly why we talk about the difference between dealing with somebody who is a jack of all trades versus dealing with somebody who's a specialist, an expert in one arena. And we always use the same example. If you wanted to have open heart surgery, are you going to your physician that you see on a monthly or a quarterly or a yearly basis?
Yeah.
Or are you going to find the best damn heart surgeon that you can get your hands on? I mean, the answer is obvious. You're going to the best expert you can find. So why deal with the jack of all trades? And it comes right back to the whole idea of buying bullion. People are fearful because it's something they don't know. It's something they're new at. And so that's why we've taken all that information, put it on our site, and talked about this extensively. It's why our customer relationships are all very close ones. And it's why people don't just buy from us and then see us in 10 years when they want to sell. We stay in touch, we stay in contact, and it's why I've been around for 20 years. And ultimately, the good ones will have that kind of longevity, and ultimately there'll be no problem with the product that they sell to you. You'll be able to sell it anywhere in the world. But this is an important topic, John, and it's a very, very important for people who are specifically looking to buy bullion and who think maybe the bank has the best answer. They don't, and they usually don't. And that's why being a jack of all trades is a negative, right? If I want to deal in something, why am I not going to the best expert in that field? In Canada, I believe Delta Harbour is the single best expert when it comes to talking about physical precious metals, owning physical precious metals, and knowing about storage and how to move them in liquidity and buying and selling. And we prepare the clients. When they buy, we talk about the selling process. Scotiabank didn't. This lady had no idea about selling. She just figured, go back to the bank. Well, again, this is the outcome, and unfortunate, but nonetheless, she got it dealt with. And so it's a scary thing, John. There's a lot of people out there who have bought certificates from banks, on paper certificates. It's an absolute no-no, in my opinion. You do not want to own certificates, and you do not want to own bank labeled product, because it's the only place that you're going to end up going back to sell it, and it's not transferable. You have to find a dealer who's really, really willing to take that silver or gold and they end up melting it back down again, because ultimately it has to be made into product which is recognized globally. And so happy ending for this particular individual. But again, it really points out how important it is to be with an expert that understands the market, like Delta Harbour.
And again, reaching out, guys, beyond this podcast is really simple. Delta Harbour, Harbour with you, deltaharbour.com. Same goes for all the social media channels. And 1-877-7323-GOLD is the phone number. No commitment. Just pick it up, have a chat with Darren or one of the team, and just get more familiar beyond what you hear in this podcast every week about what it's all about. Trouble selling, but that brings about the question of price. What about pricing? How do you guys know when they're buying is a fairly priced commodity? If I come to you guys, how do we know that?
Well, here we just keep it really simple, John. Our service approach is to overservice. Everybody that works with us knows this. Everybody that's been through our system knows it. We stop at nothing to make sure you're overserviced. It is to be there every step of the way.
Yep.
And so clients can be connected and stay on top of their purchase. It means that they have an advocate in their account representative here at Delta Harbour. They'll be able to support them when it comes to asking tough questions about their wealth strategy. It relates to bullion, but pricing is different everywhere you go. When you want to buy something, normally, especially when it comes to making an investment, we think about this as being a combination of three important aspects, John: service, price, and quality product. Well, obviously, in that story we just talked about, if you went to Scotiabank and bought, you didn't get the quality product. So you were missing out on one of those three things. You may have got service, you may have got a good price. Hey, you may have even saved a few bucks by buying the bank labeled product. But in the end, it almost cost you your entire investment because you almost couldn't sell it. So ultimately, here at Delta, we want to give service, price, and quality product. It doesn't always mean we'll be the cheapest, but I can bet your bottom dollar that unless you're willing to give up service and price and quality product in favor of just having one of those three, this is the place where you want to be, because all three of those are important to us and part of that equation. So in terms of being fairly priced, our pricing is public. It's on our site. People are allowed to go there and work through it and walk through all the products and pricing and ask questions. Is this a good price, Darren? Well, I'm going to tell you whether it is or not. If you find somebody that's selling it for cheaper, do they have the same follow-up? Do they have the same service? Is it the same quality product? There are a lot of questions you have to ask when you do that. But at the end of the day, by doing that little bit of research, which takes all of 10, 15 minutes, you make a smart, advised decision about owning physical bullion. And so, John, I think it's a very important question to ask. Is it fairly priced? You have to do the homework. You have to shop around, but you also have to bear in mind the importance of what you get with that price. So if we're $10 more than the next guy, why are we $10 more? What's the reason behind it? If we're $1 more, and a lot of people, unfortunately, John, in this day and age, they'll save $5 on their purchase of 10,000, and they'll go with the other person. Only to find out that A, the quality product is not there, or B, the service is not there. Nobody answers their questions. Nobody talks to them. Nobody ever connects with them and lets them know where they're at. And so here we believe that the basic buy is just as important as the sell. So when it comes to buying and selling, you want to be informed about both, and you don't want to just buy and never know what to do when it comes to sell your product. So the pricing and all the service and the quality of the product is all factored into that. And I'm happy to say, very competitively priced. But with that competitive pricing, you also get the best customer service in the country.
Well, before we always close out the podcast here every week, Darren, we want to give people that chance to, okay, we've learned a lot so far in the last half hour, but how do I get in there? How do I open up that account with Delta Harbour? What are my options, and how do I get started? Right.
Well, the first and easiest way is to do as I just said, which is to go to the website, experience it for yourself, find out, take a look. We always have a chat service on the website, John. So when you're there, if you don't want that face-to-face, or if you don't want or are not ready for a phone call, you can use the chat service. It's right there on the page, mobile or on your laptop or at home computer, and you can ask questions. Usually a concierge is there to help you and will speak with you and answer any questions you have. That's part of our commitment to excellent customer service. In fact, if you're listening to this show, we are in fact hiring and looking for to grow. Yes, we are looking to grow our concierge team. That means connecting with our client base for no other reason than finding out how a person is doing. That means connecting with the public. It means connecting with potential clients to answer questions like the concierge service on the website. But that's the white glove treatment we offer, and it all starts with a visit over to our website. Now, if you're at the website and you decide to make a purchase either by phoning us, having a face-to-face, or just using the e-store online, you might as well consider storage, because storage is the safe way to keep your product insured and also liquid by phone call. So you can buy and sell that product, make changes to that product, add product. Even if you bought that product somewhere else, you can put it into your storage account with us. There's no problem with that. We'll happily set that up for you. And it's a peace of mind service. The cost of storage starts at 1% of the total metal value per year, and it's charged monthly and goes down from there. So it never gets more expensive. It goes down from there. And that's for non-registered accounts that just start with something that they want to put in there, either gold, silver, or both. And if you are thinking about this and you want to make a serious go of this and make it part of your portfolio, maybe one of the best and most underused ways we have to get into the physical gold and silver market is via a registered account, John. So registered accounts are a beautiful thing because it allows us to take, hey, those 10-ounce bars I bought and put them in my TFSA. It allows me to take the 100-ounce silver bars I bought and put them in my RSP, or the 1-ounce gold bars I bought and put them in my Lira, or my LIF if I'm close to retirement or just hitting the retirement age or turning into that RSP to some other type of account. You can do that, and you can bring it from another institution. If you already have it elsewhere, why not consider the move? Come over to Delta Harbour and put product into your registered account. It's a super easy way to do it. You get the benefits of the TFSA and being tax-free. You get the deferred tax benefits of the RSP. You can do a spousal RSP. You can even set up an account under an RESP for the kids. It's a brilliant way to start saving for college or university, and it can be just one part of the portfolio or the puzzle, but nonetheless a smart one as you sit there and watch that accrue over time. In addition to that, we have what I think is one of the most robust accounts that anyone offers in the entire country, if not North America, which is called the Delta Vault account. And this is our concept of bulk bullion. All we do is we put gold and silver into the account hand over fist on a monthly basis. And you, the client, wanting exposure to gold and silver, we take away that worry of deciding whether or not you want 1-ounce bars or 10-ounce bars or 1 kilo bars. None of that matters in this account until it matters to you to take it home, or unless you want to change your holdings in any shape or form. This account allows you to just get exposure to silver and gold at the lowest possible premium that we can offer. And it is among the lowest premiums in the entire market. And I assure you, this is one of the best and fastest accruing value ways when the markets of gold and silver are rallying hard, because not only can you make that purchase at a smaller premium, save money, put it in your pocket, and use those dollars to own more silver or gold, but you can also use that silver or gold as collateral to own more products. So instead of buying 1,000 ounces of silver, now you're owning 3,000 ounces of silver. Market goes up by $1. Instead of earning $1,000, you're earning $3,000. And does it cost to do this? Sure, it does. Are there risks associated with it? Yes, it's not going to be for everyone, but we outline those risks and we talk about those costs when you come here to discuss the Delta Vault account and bulk bullion. But it keeps those costs to a minimum. It lowers the cost by not having to charge those higher industry standard premiums for the product. And it means you still have physical gold and silver, which can be converted to any type of bar or coin you want at any point in time, and then taken home also if you need to do it. There are lots of really good flexible ways to own physical gold and silver. And that Delta Vault account is among one of the most fantastic ways that you can do this. I've been offering this account since 2004, and the partnership I use with the company that we work with to vault and store all this product on your behalf is incredible. It's a fantastic method, and I urge you to take a look at that on our website. Give us a call, or of course use the chat function on the website, or set up an appointment, book an appointment to come in face to face. All of those options are there. But John, this is easy. It's all physical. And given where we are in today's world and what we're up against here, I think people are being lulled to sleep. They're being lied to, for sure. I mean, the bullshitters are out in full force. And we all know now with media the way it is not like the old days where, the truth was sought. It's we don't check resources. We just post and then we'll apologize after the fact. What does that cost, right? We've already sold enough copies. We've already drummed enough business. We've already got enough clicks. So by then the damage is already done. And that's the way the world works right now. It weaves into a wicked spot. So you really need to decipher what's best for you. And unfortunately, right now in Canada, there is a lot of uncertainty. And I do think that what people are failing to see is what lies ahead. And that's a real dark moment. It may only be a short one, but nonetheless could be very, very bad for a lot of people. And the writing's on the wall. It's there, John. It's costing us a lot of money right now, but it's going to get worse. And I'd like people to be balanced, diversified, take advantage of something that's very affordable right now, in favor of holding on to something that in 5 or 10 years from now could be the one reason that they become millionaires, because they made the right decision right now at this moment in time. And that's what I think about gold and silver at the moment. And I think that people would benefit greatly from just getting over to our website and checking that out.
Yeah, the familiarity every week, guys. If you're not convinced so far, if this podcast on a weekly basis isn't enough for you to be incentivized and hedge your portfolio with some physical metals, if you've never gone down that road, then we lead you right back to the phone call. You want to spend more than 20 minutes on this podcast and actually talk to Darren, or like he says, go see him in the flesh. You could do so. Book that appointment, get more information, deltaharbor.com, Harbor with you. You can click away in the e-store and grab a little bit, grab a taste on your own right before you make that bigger investment. Maybe get into the vaulting system with Darren, or just make that phone call and get it happening. 1-877-323-GOLD. Really simple, right? 1-877-323-GOLD. And on all those social media outlets, you simply search Delta Harbour. That's YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. And of course, this podcast can be heard at all your favorite outlets for podcasting as well. So there you go. And we'll catch you next time, next week, right here on the Hard Money Podcast. Have a good week.